I'm doing it, and I promise if I can do it, you can do it too. Last one, don't stop and do what I call pushing it out. Hello, 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 Transurfer and Transurfing Curious. My name is Renee Garcia, guys, and this is Transurfing TV. And today on Transurfing TV, audacious, delusional thinking to get you going in the right direction of manifestation, creating what it is you want through kind of like dropping a bomb in your reality of true, like just going into this space where you believe yourself to be absolutely deserving of whatever it is that you want, not desiring, not wanting, but deserving of what it is that you want in a way that could be perceived by others as being delusional, and also audaciously presenting this version of you to your mirror to the extent where your mirror's like, okay, I agree. You do absolutely deserve that. And here are the ways in which you can achieve what it is you're intending on achieving. I actually saw this term audacious, delusional, manifesting in a meme. There were two girls talking back and forth, and one of them says, the way I manifest is through audacious delusion. And the other girl said, yeah, being audacious and being delusional about what it is that you want are the two like manifestation hacks that are the most powerful. And it is so true. And I have been doing this pretty much, since I began creating wealth for myself. And I didn't really understand exactly what it was that I was doing, but I'm going to give you guys like a super concrete example of how I did this exactly and what it's created for me, which has been kind of a lot. And I'm going to run through 5 steps of things that you can do to audaciously present to your mirror and go about a delusional sort of thinking to the extent that you actually benefit from it. And it's powerful stuff. It's powerful stuff, and it can be applied to virtually anything. If you're looking for, Prince Charming or Princess Charming, Princess Charming, Prince or Princess Charming, more money, a position professionally. I know a number of transurfers who have transurfed themselves jobs that they're just like, oh my God, I have none of the requirements for this job. And they got it because they were audaciously delusional about their deserving, the element of them being deserving of that job, regardless of the requirements not being met. And it really is true that if you can switch over to this mode of thinking, reality just sort of clears away for you and is like, okay, you fucking, we owe you this. So before I get started on 5 ways in which you can go about doing this in your own life towards an intention of your choosing, please remember to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and comment below. The courses down below: Reality 2.0, Becoming Magnetic, Mo Money, Anomalous Action Breakthrough Course, Tufti 2.0. We are loaded up with courses now, and they're all super powerful. We have a masterclass, which is everything that ITI has created, and it's game changer indeed. So if you would like more info, definitely take a look at the links below. Join us on the Facebook group. Follow me on Instagram, and cool shirts if you'd like to bear the mark of the beast. As I like to say, I have such a fondness for this logo. It is my artifact of intention. If you missed that video that I did, go back and take a look at it. It is just this amazing idea of having an object that you correspond to a version of reality that you intend to materialize. And I've kind of gone through a few different objects that I loaded up with my intention, but it's this one right here, this logo, if you will, that has really been like the humdinger for me, to the extent that I actually got it tattooed on my body as well. I mean, this has really been helping me create my reality like a motherfucker. So I'm pretty much living in this logo these days. So anyway, to get started, 5 steps towards audaciously creating your reality with delusional thinking. And when I say delusional, I don't mean excess potential. So there are a couple of different ways in which what I'm talking about can be interpreted, and it's definitely not you living in a fantasy that you are going to have something or desiring something, like this burning desire. This isn't what this is about. What this is about is it's about you and this is my first step, is you really getting down to the brass tacks of it and asking yourself, whatever it is that you want, right? Whatever it is, more money, a really solid, thriving romantic relationship, the profession of your dreams, more freedom, whatever it is you want, really getting into it and asking yourself, why not me, right? Why not me? And I know this is kind of this is the big one that most people don't overcome. Thinking along the lines of those things are intended for others, those things come easier for others, but they're not intended for me. And Vadim Zeland definitely talks a lot about this in Reality Transurfing steps 1 through 5. Feeling as though there are certain things in this world that are reserved for other people. So my story, and it's a powerful one. Now, I'm not going to stand here and try to front like you're going to do this and everything's going to just instantly come to you. The things that I have materialized, and I have materialized some really, really bitchin' amazing stuff in my reality. Firstly, being all the jewelry that I have. I mean, I have an absurd amount of jewelry, really nice stuff. I'm not going to say what it is because it's a little bit of a secret, but I have a collection of something that is probably the most extensive collection in the world of this rare item. And I've got it sitting in a security box at a bank. I go in and I look at the collection every now and again just to sort of revel in what it is I have materialized for myself. And I went about getting this collection and the material things that I have by doing this, because as many of you may know, these things weren't handed to me, and these things weren't like this path wasn't paved for me by thoughts that were instilled upon me by my environment. I grew up very, very lower middle class, borderline poverty, and I struggled just for a lot of years in my adulthood. I struggled with incredibly low self-esteem, incredibly low self-worth. I had zero money. I had zero like drive. I didn't have a means to make money. I had, by my mid-20s, I had a huge amount of debt. I had no way to make money. And my thoughts on the nicer things in life were definitely not good. Like, I thought that I was just going to drive, the cheapest car, never have anything. I was definitely lower level of reality when it came to material stuff and wealth. Now, let me preface by saying that reality transurfing, and I know that there's a lot of people that come to this modality and they want to manifest money. And I'm happy for all the material things that I have, but it has been me tuning to the frail of my soul, me aligning with the thing that would provide me heart and mind coordination, me really getting into who I am as an individual and maximizing my skill set and my abilities in a way that's very natural to me, that has helped me to materialize my wealth. And this is kind of why a lot of people come to things like law of attraction, Neville Goddard, reality transurfing, The Secret, all these different things, and they don't see the results, is because they're going about it from a backward direction. They're trying to get the thing first when the thing actually is created within, like you dialing to your soul frail and getting in to those intricate little parts of who you are, what you're good at, what mode you can go into where you are the most effective version of yourself, and then this is what creates the wealth. So along with that is this audacious delusional thinking that I'm talking about, is getting yourself to a place where you're doing both things. You're not only dialing to your frail and either really going into what is helping you to achieve that sensation of heart and mind coordination, or setting the intention that you're going to find that thing, and at the same time looking to your external environment in a way where you're like, I am so unbelievably deserving of this thing. There's no way that my world's not going to give it to me. So I grew up very low thinking about money, really bad programming about, always feeling less than, not having enough, always focusing on what wasn't there, always feeling poor, always feeling broke. And then at a certain point, this was way before reality transurfing, it switched. I switched it rather. And I'm not exactly sure how I had the insight to do this, but I talk a lot about this in my book, these insights where I got myself to a place where I'm like, okay, why the fuck not me? Why the fuck not me? Okay, I'm not educated, but there are plenty of people in the world that have created success for themselves without being educated, right? Okay, well, I don't necessarily have the means to create, wealth for myself. Okay, well, why the fuck not me, that I can't connect with that thing to create wealth for myself? And when I really started asking this very, very deeply, why not me, why not me, why not me, my world started to present to me ways in which I absolutely could do this, but I had to really remove this thinking that things were reserved for others and not for me. So one of the things that I did, and I've talked about this in videos before, I talk about it in my book, I talk about it in my webinar, because it was a really powerful exercise for me to dive into, and I still do it to this day when I can. So what it is, let me talk first about how it started. So I was $50,000 in debt, I had no money to my name, I didn't even have a car. I was living in Los Angeles. I had bills piling up. And this feeling of not being deserving and being broke really started to just crush me, right? It was like a heaviness in my chest. And I thought, how am I going to live like this? How am I going? I can't see how I'm going to endure this sort of financial pressure and not having, and poverty mentality like my whole life. I couldn't see it. So I thought to myself, I am going to start acting like I just really deserve something, right? And I didn't even understand necessarily what that something was yet. It wasn't until later that I started to define exactly what it was that I wanted. And in that practice, I started really, receiving a lot. But I had to do the first step, and that was putting myself in a position where I could feel audaciously deserving. So what I started to do is I started to go into stores on Rodeo Drive. Now, I wasn't dressed the part. I did not have nice clothes. I did not have nice shoes. I did not have nice bags. I didn't have jewelry. I didn't have anything. All I had was this audacious delusion that I belonged in the Cartier store. And I would walk in, and it was really, really uncomfortable for the first, I would say 20 times. Yes, I've gone in that many times. So it was really uncomfortable for the first 20 times because all the representatives, the sales representatives that work there knew that I did not belong, right? So they would like side-eye me and they wouldn't want to show me stuff. And I would be fucking insistent. I would go up and I'd be like, I want to look at that, right? And they'd be like, oh God, this chick again, this pathetic chick who has no money. But, they would humor me and they would have to show me. They couldn't say no because, wealth is kind of funny like that. And I still do this sometimes where if I'm in San Francisco or a place where there is a Cartier store, especially if I'm dressed down, I like to go in and try to catch that vibe again because I know that they can't tell me no because there is that small chance that I do have the ability to buy in their mind. So they don't want to overstep and push me aside because that could really cause a lot of problems, especially for their sales, right? But I like to go into these spaces and not give off the vibe that I have the means to buy. I go in with just my audacious delusion that I am deserving of being there, right? I am deserving of being there. So I did this initially, and this did tremendous things for me. I mean, tremendous. I can't even begin to tell you the paths and opportunities that opened up in my reality because of this exact exercise that I would do. And over time, I started to resonate at the frequency of these items that I was looking at. It became my business. Then I started to be able to wear them once in a while, and my clothing started to upgrade a little bit. And my whole thing, my whole persona, my whole vibe, my whole frequency started to merge over to the frequency that I was immersing myself in. Now, I probably would not have done this if it had not been for the fact that it became my business, right? This became my business, luxury goods, designer jewelry, all this stuff. I probably wouldn't, I've never really been a materialistic person, but I knew in order for me to be successful in the luxury goods business that I was going to have to really start acting the part. So this is exactly what I did. And now, you know what? I've got all of the stuff that I want when it comes to jewelry and luxury goods. And it's taken, and again, I'm not going to stand here in front that it was instant, right? I started doing this shit when I was 26, 27 years old, and I'm now 42. So it's been a long road. I've put in a lot of time. I've put in a lot of hours. I've put in a lot of energy. I have cultivated my craft. I've spent a lot of time around luxury goods, even down here in my basement where I film. I just bought a lot of Chanel bags and stuff from a client, and these things are all around, right? So I'm resonating at the frequency of this thing, allowing myself to have the audacious delusion that I am just as capable or deserving of having these things than anyone else. Now, granted, it took me a little bit more time because, people in my life weren't, I didn't have the exact set and decorations to be able to materialize this stuff. I had to build this, right? I had to build this, and it's taken me this amount of time. But now, when it comes to these sorts of items, I absolutely want for nothing. So focusing on why not you first and foremost is the absolute most crucial step. And if there's something that you want, let's say you want to live in $1 million house, make it a habitual practice that anytime $1 million house gets listed within a driving distance to you, that you go in to an open house or schedule a viewing. And even if it irritates the real estate agent, do it anyway. Get yourself in that environment. The one thing about reality transurfing and how it differs from the law of attraction, which I really do feel is one of the most powerful points of reality transurfing, when we are trying to, manifest something via the law of attraction, we're attempting to pull that material item into the layer of reality that we're currently at. Now, sometimes it just doesn't, it doesn't coincide with that version of reality. Just like when I was, poor and struggling and no car and no money and all that debt, I wasn't going to sit on my couch watching Netflix and start materializing jewelry. I had to physically put myself into an environment where the potential for me materializing that would exponentially, be much higher. So I'd go to Cartier, I'd go to Van Cleef. I took an office in the Los Angeles jewelry district downtown and started hustling my ass off, right? And then I was in the environment for me to actually materialize this stuff rather than me just wishing, hoping, wanting for it to come into my layer of reality. I got my ass up and I moved over to the layer of reality where the presence of that thing was higher and it was more likely that I would come in contact with it and materialize it, right? So second part, focus on how to, and forget about the, why I don't have this thing. And this is so classic, my teachings have been all about this point. Focus on the forward and up rather than the downward and back. So instead of thinking, oh God, I don't have money, the debt's piling up, I don't have the thing to make me the cash that I want, why does everybody else get the car and the house and the blah, 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 or whatever it is that you want. And instead of focusing on that stuff, dwelling on that stuff, resonating with that kind of thinking, start to really consider how you can create what it is that you want. So again, me moving myself over to the jewelry district, I didn't have any money. I had very, very, very little means to start my business, but I kind of audaciously, allowed myself to come into this space and be like, I'm here, y'all. I'm here. I'm broke, but I have passion. I have drive. And I have the audacious delusion that I belong here just as much as you motherfuckers, right? And when you can really put yourself, and I'm doing the same with transurfing right now. I'm not a self-help person, self-development. Like this space, I am an absolute anomaly. But I'm allowing myself to be here, and I'm bringing myself, my authentic self, the skills that I have, and making certain that those are the things that I'm focused on. Those are the things that I can contribute. Those are the things I can kick in, rather than all the things that I don't have, right? If I had gone into the jewelry business and taken my office in the downtown jewelry district and sat at my desk thinking, oh man, all these guys have all this capital to buy. I don't have any capital. All of these guys have connections. I don't have any connections. I went out onto the streets, I walked into businesses, I introduced myself, I acted enthusiastically, I showed my passion, and sure enough, people aligned with that and gave me opportunities that I would not have had if I just sat at my desk in my office thinking of all the ways in which I was limited, right? The one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest. But I got out there and showed the world audaciously that I was putting myself into a position to have. Look at me now. So focus on how to more so than why you don't have, right? 3, turn it into a game. So I took the value of things and I minimized it, right? So instead of thinking, oh my God, that piece of jewelry is going to cost me $25,000 to buy so I can flip it for a little bit of profit. Instead of thinking about, things in a way where I'm like, I don't have that. That's so much money. Oh my God, that's scary. Oh my God, the risk. All of these different things that can very easily come into one's mind when stepping into a new version of reality, right? Oh my God, I can fall down, is to turn it into a game, essentially lower the importance. So it's just money, it's just numbers, it's just material stuff. Don't load it up with so much excess potential. Like, I stepped back and thought to myself at a certain point, I'm just going to master this game. It's just a game. It's just numbers. It's just stuff. And once I sort of step back from that ledge of thinking, oh my God, this is like the stakes are high and all this kind of stuff, I was actually able to do business pretty fluidly without getting caught up in overly focusing on the risk and the scariness and the high stakes. So getting yourself into a game mindset where you are legitimately thinking of it like a game. It's all just a game. It's all just a game. It's all just an illusion. And if you follow the first steps, why not me, right? Why not you? And then you look at it like a game. It just it's like you're just paving a path where you can start walking down it and very easily see the ways in which your reality will present to you the means in order for you to achieve what it is you're intending to achieve without feeling threatened or that there's risk or that you're not that something's going to happen. This is really one of the big ones in business, especially if you're watching this video and thinking about what you would like to achieve professionally for yourself. Viewing it as a game, this is going to be, again, you sending an image to your mirror, a product to your mirror, where your mirror is like, okay, game on, right? Game on, game on. So 4, go as big as possible. This is the big one for me. I wouldn't go into the Cartier store and look at a $5,000 piece of jewelry. I would go into the Cartier store and I would fucking look at a $5 million piece of jewelry. I remember once I did this with my partner. We were in San Francisco and I did look kind of like, trashy or whatever. I didn't have a bunch of jewelry on or nice clothes. I kind of don't really dress up in my regular reality. I'm a sweats and, ponytail person. My tennis shoes are probably 5 years old. But we walked in, I'm like, hey, let's go into Cartier. So we go into Cartier and my partner is like, oh my God, this is so intimidating, and he's all nervous and he's stiff and like the representative comes over and asks and he like jumps like, oh my God. And I'm like, no, just follow me. This is super fun. So I walk in and I'm like browsing around and I can tell the lady's kind of like rolling her eyes. And I walk up to their fine jewelry case where there's like millions and millions of dollars. And I'm like, I want to try on that one. And the look on my partner's face was like, holy shit. And I put the ring, I think it was like a 10 karat D flawless or something. It was like $5 million. And I put the ring on my finger and I was just like, la da 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 da. And all the employees are like, high alert. We've got a wild card in here. So go as big as possible because again, the more that you're like audaciously delusional about what it is that you have the ability to have or materialize, like, of course I can't, well, I shouldn't say of course, that's limited thinking, but I can't go into Cartier and buy that $10 million ring right now, right? Maybe one day I can. Right now I can't, but even if I open those gates a little to be able to afford a $100,000 Cartier ring or a $10,000, well, I already have the items of that value, but that is because I've gone big, right? I've gone big and I've cleared the way energetically that, yeah, the $10 million, that's probably a way off, but other stuff can come flowing in because the energetic channels have been cleared by me sort of like, you know, move on through, I'm coming through, I'm coming through. So go as big as possible. And then to wrap this up, don't stop, and this is kind of in line with the last one, don't stop and do what I call pushing it out. So pushing it out, don't stop simply means be relentless. Just keep going, just keep going, just keep going. Don't take no for an answer from your reality. If you want something and you just stay on it and think of you being deserving, allowing your world to show you the means to achieve, all that stuff, and you just keep on it, you will ultimately get there. And then pushing it out, what that means is be audacious in what it is that you're asking of your reality when you are looking for the means in which you'll achieve something. So an example here, I have created a few interesting things, interesting trends in the jewelry market single-handedly because I had the audacity to push out what I was asking. So let's say that I bought an item and the item typically sells for X amount of dollars, let's say $25,000, right? I would figure out ways in which I could value add to the item a little bit, and maybe I ask 40,000 instead of 25. And I've had a lot of people say to me in the jewelry business, you're never going to get that. You're never going to get that. But things are always pushed out. Allow yourself to be the one that does the pushing out. So asking for a higher salary or positioning yourself in some sort of negotiations where you don't just assume the status quo is what you're going to get. Allow yourself the audacity to be able to push out even further. And I've sold some incredible things in my life where people told me that I simply would not get those sorts of prices. And I've done it, and I've raised markets. I've done this a few times with specific items in the jewelry business. Looking back retrospectively, I'm like, oh my God, when I started pushing it out, it hit a whole new trend, and then it would just go up, and I was the one that opened the floodgates for that. Now, I mean, this is really like getting into the specifics of business here, but I would eventually price myself out of markets. So then I would have to go and find something else to push out. But this is kind of how I've created, right? Is I've gone into spaces. I've done this a number of times. My house that I sold last year, I believe I got the highest asking price in the history of prices for what it was that I had. And this is because I was audacious enough to keep pushing out and being like, no, I'm deserving of this. I'm deserving of this. I'm deserving of this. And sure enough, if you do this enough, your reality will absolutely agree. Yeah, you know what? You are deserving of it. You are deserving of it, and here you go. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm getting it all the time, but I'm also like, my batting average is pretty high because I'm taking a lot of swings and I'm connecting, right? Sometimes I lose, sometimes I don't gauge it right. I've definitely lost some money in deals, but I've had enough positive, positive movement in other deals that it compensates for the ones that didn't exactly hit, but I continue to push it out, if that makes sense. So run through them. Why not you? Number one, Focus on how to more so than why don't I have or why don't you have. Turn it into a game, go as big as possible, and don't stop. Push it out, push it out, push it out. Don't acknowledge the boundaries that you're sensing with your mind because they're not there. It's all an illusion. And if you want more for yourself, believe me, I have experienced low versions of reality, and now I am where I am, materializing the things that I really want in life when it comes to material stuff. Now, again, it's all just a game and it's not too serious, but I'm doing it, and I promise if I can do it, you can do it too. So let me know your thoughts on this video, and thank you for watching. Peace, y'all.